As mentioned, we are going to be moving into our kind of conclusion for Women's History Month. My name is Melissa Rathlifson, for those of you who don't know me, and I have been one of the co-chairs for this month's events here at the HSC. That were sponsored by the Office for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And today we are going to not only take a minute to just close this wonderful month, but to celebrate our sheros. And I am going to ensure that our main shero guru is here, and that is Amy Jameson. I'm going to turn it over to Amy here. Amy is a clinical department administrator, for the Department of Emergency Medicine, and she really has led the development and the whole process of our SHEros Award for this month. So Amy, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate being invited to participate in this and to help to put this award together. The purpose of the SHEros Award is to recognize our leaders, both formal and informal. Leadership is defined by actions and not just titles. The HSC Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion wanted to recognize outstanding advocates from 4 categories. The 4 categories are faculty, learners, staff, and community members. These categories highlight the fact that everyone can be a leader. We based the evaluation matrix on 3 questions. How did the action benefit UNMHSC? How did the actions benefit the community? Was there a history of supporting women's issues? A subcommittee reviewed the nominations and scored them. This was based on a range of 0 to 3 per question. The scores for each nominee was added up and divided by the number of reviewers to get an average score. The individual with the highest score per category was selected as the recipient for the award. Now, I would like to introduce Jessica Holland, who will present the nominees.
And I'm going to pass it back to Melissa.
Thank you, Amy, so much for all of your work putting this together. And thank you to Jessica, who I want to acknowledge has been the co-chair of the Women's History Month events. And it has been such a delight to work with you as well, Jessica. Jessica is the director of the Women's Resource Center, which many of you may know recently opened the Vassar House Resource Center here on the HSC campus back in January of 2020. And she has been an amazing co-chair for this program. Though time was really short for this nomination process, Amy did a fantastic job working us through this. We did get a lot of really amazing nominations for the SHEros in our midst. I'm just going to quick share my screen and pull up a PowerPoint presentation here just so I can share with you some of the information here. Just give me one moment. Okay, hopefully I am now sharing my presentation. Though we were able to only choose 4 winners from the list, we have a huge number of nominees, and the accomplishments in the leadership that are shown by all of these nominees is simply outstanding. And we certainly heard in our last panel even more women who really could have easily fit in to this award. So I would really like to thank all of our nominees for our leadership in making the HSC and our community a better place. So now I'm going to move on to our winners. And as Amy mentioned, we have 4 categories: learner, staff, faculty, and community. And I'm going to start with our Learner Award, which goes to Amanda, or Mandy Collar. Amanda is an MD PhD student here in the School of Medicine, and she is a leader in women's health locally, statewide, and nationally. Here's what her colleagues had to say about her. Mandy is not only a member of the UNM HSC, but she's a part of the New Mexico American Council of Physicians. She wrote the resolution on the tampon tax and helped start and facilitate the How Women Rise book club about women's professional development. Through her writing and leadership and participation, Mandy works towards informing the public about inequities women face, as well as exploring how she can help improve the health of women. Congratulations to Mandy. I'm not sure if she is here with us today. If so, Could she speak up and say a few words if she would like?
Sure. Hi. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be awarded the SHEro Award this year. I'd like to thank all of the strong women who have inspired and encouraged me to continue doing this work. This includes my mentor, Dr. Catherine Fritz, the incredible women in the Fritz Lab, one of my mentors, Dr. Heather Brislin, and all the incredible women on the National and New Mexico American College of Physicians who have all inspired me. And I'd like to just take a moment and remind everyone that we have more power and influence than we really recognize and know. And that's all of our responsibility to fight for a more just society for all people. With that, I'd like to just say thank you again.
Thank you, Mandy. I'm so happy that you were able to join us here today and say a few words. Thank you and congratulations again. We're really proud to be colleagues of yours here at the HSC. Our next award is for our staff award, and that goes to Stephanie Nelson. Stephanie is a multimedia services tech in the Department of Emergency Medicine and a leader in helping the incarcerated and their families here in New Mexico. Here's what her nominator had to say. Stephanie is very active in the Millions for Prisoners program. She engages with individuals and their families who are incarcerated, and she helps prisoners to understand and advocate for their rights while incarcerated. In 2020, some of the most important issues included advocating for guards to wear masks, having sufficient supplies and time to be able to take showers, and to try to limit the spread of COVID-19. She recognizes that people need to work through trauma, and that is a normal part of the human condition. She gives them the resources to work through the trauma and not to run away from it. Stephanie, congratulations. If you were here, would you be able to say a few words?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I was completely honored to even be nominated, much less to find out that of all the incredible work that's occurring in our community that we were selected. And I just can't begin to, to share the humility that you all are bringing. I also want to share that today is Trans Day of Visibility, and just affirming that all of our trans sibling and trans women are valuable, lovable, and are supported in all the liberation work that we do. And I'd like to share just a few minutes, if you don't mind, on why the work that I do is a calling for me. So recognizing and fighting for the shared humanity of all of our neighbors, no matter the labels or systems that try to strip them from it, whether they're unsheltered, incarcerated, or living with addiction, we know that over 90% of all crime committed in the world is survival crime based by the UN. We know that the shared causes of these statuses are associated with poverty, trauma, and a lack of access to resources. Angela Davis tells us that prisons do not disappear social problems, they disappear people. Top psychiatrists discuss the most traumatized people in our society are those who are thrown into cages and are legally treated and denominated as slaves through the intentional criminality clause of the 13th Amendment that allowed slavery to continue in this country post-emancipation. We know that there are more than enough resources in our country to end poverty, to heal community through their trauma, and to make all the resources accessible to everyone who needs them. But most important of all, we know that a better world is possible. For an introduction as to why Millions for Prisoners is one of many organizations for care, not cages, please consider watching The 13th on Netflix, as well as a documentary I'm going to link at 7 minutes. I'll put it in the chat. It's called Step Inside the Circle, which talks about trauma and its association with the carceral system. And of course, if you're interested in any of this work, please reach out to me via my personal email. I'll place that in the chat, and I look forward to organizing with all of you in the coming months. Thank you so much for this honor.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thanks for being here and for those words and sharing your resources with us as well. Our next award is our faculty award, and that goes to Michelle Harkins. Dr. Harkins is a professor in the Division of Pulmonary Critical Care and Sleep Medicine in the Department of Internal Medicine. Here's what her nominator had to say. In a time when women suffered the most, losing the most standing in the workplace, sacrificing the most to keep families together, having a woman be at the front of COVID work has been critically important to all women. Dr. Harkins led the COVID therapeutic trials at UNM, worked to expand ICU services during COVID surges, ran the COVID critical care ECHO program, and was the first to step up to do extra time during the COVID surges, and was one of 4 to take all hospital COVID calls. She is a mentor and a role model for nearly all the women in the Department of Internal Medicine. Congratulations, Dr. Harkins. If you're here, I would invite you to say a few words.
Sure, thank you. Well, I am really honored to be a recipient of this award. And I must say that 2020 has probably been one of the hardest years of my life ever, both professionally as well as personally, with the all of the COVID work and the research and, personal friends and family that have been sick with the disease and passed from the disease. But I really could not have done any of this without the help of my friends and colleagues that kept me fed, went to the grocery store for me, and really, helped be my moral support. But I also couldn't have done this without the other faculty and residents and fellows, the ICU nurses, the RTs, the pharmacists. I mean, we really came together as a clinical team to move forward and in an ever-changing day-to-day environment to try to provide the best care we could. I also was very fortunate to have a lot of different research collaborators in divisions and other departments that were, very helpful. We worked well together. And I really think, this year we've been very distanced and had to be distanced from each other. But yet in another realm, we really came together to meet the challenge. And I can say, that many, many women are deserving of this award. And I think, I'm really honored to be recognized and by my peers. And I think it takes a village to stand up to a pandemic and try to walk through it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thanks for being with us here today and for those words. Our final award is for community, and it goes to Dr. Valerie Romero-Leggett. Dr. Romero-Leggett is Vice Chancellor and Chief Diversity Officer at the UNM Health Sciences Center and Professor in the UNM Department of Family and Community Medicine. Dr. Romero-Leggett was nominated for her leadership in advancing women's representation and inclusion across the HSC in our community. Her nominator says, in 2020, Dr. Romero-Leggett supported a number of important initiatives, including anti-racism and white coats for Black and Indigenous lives, championing Heritage Month activities across the HSC, UNM, and New Mexico, including Women's History Month, transforming our pipeline and pathway programs to a virtual platform, and serving as a positive role model for all. She has been a fierce advocate for a closer look at women in the workforce during COVID-19. Congratulations, Dr. Romero-Leggett. If you're here, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much, Melissa and Jessica and Amy and the entire team for your amazing Women's History Month. And this is just truly an honor, and very honored and humbled in this award. And what I'd like to really share is, to me, a couple things. One is that I believe that our individual successes, such as these amazing honors, truly are collective efforts. And I think my colleagues have all shared this same sentiment, that we wouldn't be here if it weren't for others, right? Not only those who came before us and opened the doors, right? And offered these opportunities that many of them never had, but also just the current people, our colleagues, our friends, our communities, like the people that we work with, right? I mean, this is an Office for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, like my amazing team and family. Actually, we're a family. This award is for them, and then for the people here at the HSC. And really, for New Mexico, this is so meaningful to me in the sense of community, because that's truly like where my heart is, and what I feel so strongly about is the communities and the people here in New Mexico. And I always loved, and I'll never forget, how Dr. Roth had always said that this academic health center is the largest in the nation, because we are we are New Mexico, right? Our academic health center is New Mexico and the communities of New Mexico. So it's just really an honor because, again, I think our different communities, right, are our families, our teams, out into the rural communities of New Mexico, our colleagues, and I think Mandy and others said it here, like we're here because of these incredible, also other women role models and mentors and coaches and sponsors, and really cannot say enough for them. I feel like all of the other esteemed awardees here today, just humbled to be with them and the nominees. And yes, you're right, like there are so many sheros, whether they're sung and unsung, but that we appreciate and that we know none of us would be here without them and their support. So I just want to again thank you all and thank the amazing, strong, and powerful women in our lives. And I will give a special shout out to my mom and my grandma Virginia, because they were women with had not gone on in their education very far, but so wise and so wonderful, and really, again, helped make me who I am today. So thank you all again, and just very much appreciate this honor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Romero-Leggett, for those words. And I think that they really sum up the feelings that so many of us have here. To be amongst these awardees and these nominees is truly an honor for all of us. And it's been a real pleasure for me to hear from all of you and to learn more about the sheros in our midst, in our community. It's truly been phenomenal. So thank you to all of you. I would like to also extend our thanks to the many, many people who made Women's History Month a success. And several of them you may have seen on our previous panel, you may see here online with us right now. But really, as Dr. Romero-Leggett said, this is a community effort, and celebrating all of us and who bring together this wonderful community to talk about our successes and the leadership and the strength that we all bring to this community in making it a better place is just so critical. So thank you to everyone who participated in this on behalf of me and my co-chair, Jessica Holland. I'd also like to thank all of you who attended here today, with a special thanks to Amy for putting together the SHEros Awards, and thank those of you who also have participated in our many other events. I would invite you also to look at the Office of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion website to see some of our videos if you ended up missing any of the events from this fantastic series that we have put on this month with such amazing speakers, some of whom are mentioned here on this slide. So thank you so much. And with that, I will close our Women's History Month celebrations. Thank you.
Woohoo. If I could just add very quickly, you know, I want to give special thanks on behalf of the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion of the Health Sciences Center to Melissa Rethelson, Jessica Holland, Meg Elcock, Amy Jameson, and the entire planning committee for Women's History Month. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your leadership and dedication. It was a lot of work. You were on emails and calls every day. So please know we are extremely grateful on behalf of myself and Dr. Romero-Leggett and everyone in the office. Excellent work.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sanchez. And I put that in the kind of the same sentiments in the chat, and just thank you all so much. It really was an incredible team effort for a wonderful, amazing Women's History Month. Thank you all.